Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Dapo Aruwa Joye. On radar today, senators prepare for the worst. APC and PDP lawmakers fight cold war on who to succeed Bukola Saraki. Should he be convicted and removed as Senate President? We will also review the ongoing war against terror in Nigeria as the military captures 300 Boko Haram fighters, and the federal government's plan to rehabilitate some repentant terrorists. So the hangout starts now. There is an ongoing cold war in the Senate with the Senate President Bukola Saraki on corruption trial. Some senators are mounting pressure on him to resign his position, but this pressure means almost nothing to Saraki's loyalists in the upper chamber. They say Saraki will remain the Senate President and their support for him will not wither. They describe his trial as an attempt to blackmail him and make him look bad in the court of public opinion. With the look of things, APC's woes might ultimately be PDP's gains. And Saraki's loyalists say, should he be removed, the People's Democratic Party will produce his successor. This sounds pretty like the senators are already preparing for the worst. Will there ever be an end to the leadership tussle in the Senate? That's a big question there. My colleagues are here today. Emeka Madunago, thank you very much for joining us once again.
Thank you very much.
And BK is also around. Babak Jide Kolade Otitoju. Thank you very much, Jide, for coming around.
Good evening, viewers.
Okay, let me start with you, Jide. With the look of things, really, Saraki is the big one. Is it that he wins this case or he loses the case? And what do you think? He should be prepared for this, right?
Yes, Saraki is prepared, no doubt about it. You will see that he has already flown in some forensic experts. They are going to look at the documents that the EFCC says it has, you know, about him. And you see clearly that he's doing his best. He's doing his best. He's put some good lawyers together, and he thinks that he can win the case. And for me, I think it's up to the EFCC to do a good job. I've been very confident in the past about some cases, which the EFCC brought up against certain politically exposed persons and certain big people in Nigeria, and we didn't quite go according to plan. You recall someone like Hassan Lawan, the former minister of Works. The EFCC brought a case against him, but he won in court, and the trial judge thoroughly insulted the EFCC in giving judgment, setting him free. And the EFCC did not even have the balls to appeal. You also recall Babalakin's case. We were told that Babalakin was the main front for Ibori. But when they got to court, they couldn't prove that Babalakin was guilty. Babalakin himself, his son, a big lawyer, with his dad as a retired Supreme Court judge, he was prepared, and he won the case. There have been other cases like that. Look at even that of Femi Fani-Kayode. At the point when we were close to the judgment, the witness came out to say that, came out to recant, to say what all that he said about Femi Fani-Kayode were contrived. That he was actually, that he made a statement under duress.
So you are not optimistic in this case again?
You see, you may have a good case, but if you don't present your case very well, just as the Chief Judge of the Federation said the other day, Justice Mahmoud Mohammed, he said, look, that a case is like a building, that if you don't build your case very well, there's nothing that the judge can do for you.
You don't have a solid foundation.
Yes, yes. You know, thank you for reminding me what you said. There's nothing that the judge can do for you. And that's why I went down memory lane because EFCC has a particularly bad record with these, especially cases involving big people. They have a particularly bad record. They have a very poor rate of conviction for such people. If it's to convict Yahoo boys, now these small boys or some bank thieves, the little bank thieves, they always win. But with the politically exposed persons who can find the best lawyers around, you know, who can recruit the best lawyers, they always come up, you know, they always don't get the job done. Honestly, that is even the Bode George case that they won, the Supreme Court ruled invariably that Bode George was wrongly convicted. So if they must win the Saraki case, then they need to really work hard. I've seen, for example, the Saraki people have come out to say, well, that they claimed that Saraki was drawing his salary long after he left office. That what he was actually drawing was not salary, but his pension. Well, I don't know how accurate that is, and I will not say that I have the facts. But the reality is, the EFCC must do a good job, and I'm not going to say that at this point, given the record of the EFCC, I'm not going to sit here and say with finality that I'm sure that Saraki will go to jail. We'll leave that to the judges. Just the judges to decide.
And let's get to look at it. Before we need to set a precedent to what should or what might happen in the chamber later, if or not Saraki is convicted. But let's get to look at the precedents now. Let's get to look at the EFCC. As Jide said, do you have trust in the EFCC to win any case now? And a case against some people that have got money to get enough sands on the outside?
Well, I would prefer to dwell on the case and the need for diligent prosecution by the EFCC. I believe there have been, apart from the tardiness with which they've handled some cases, there have also been some factors militating against the ability of the EFCC to secure convictions. You know, of course, we have issues of corruption in the judiciary. We have issues of, you know, the lack of cooperation from the bar, you know, from lawyers. We've seen it in the Saraki case. You know, it went up to the Supreme Court. We've seen all the delayed tactics. We saw what the lead counsel tried to do, that he could not come to the venue, and all of those things. But it appears in this Saraki's case that the EFCC is fully prepared. Now, the Saraki case has even assumed an international dimension, which ultimately, I believe, will even decide it. It may even override this EFCC case, because
can you illustrate further?
For the number 3 man in the country to be operating offshore assets away from your country.
You mean the Panama report?
Yes, the Panama Papers. Yes, the Panama Papers. Now, that has very strong international implications. Because what it means, first of all, you don't even believe in your country.
But Saraki, as his aides have denied him having anything to do with that.
No, that was David Mark, not Saraki.
Oh, David Mark.
That was David Mark.
Yes, thank you.
Saraki
also did. Yeah,
in fact, he placed the whole
advertorial
at the door of the wife. That
yes,
is actually family's assets and all that.
Yes, you know, it's just about, just let's give it a month. Like the team that put together the Panama Papers said in early May, they're going to bring out in a comprehensive list of who has what. So let's wait till then. And then I believe, of course, if they are able, if it can be shown that actually it's not about, you know, what Saraki is presenting to us, but that really Saraki has it, then, of course, we know now the Prime Minister of Iceland has resigned because of assets owned by his wife. And you're talking of Saraki's wife. Okay, fine. Let's say Saraki's wife.
He is saying that the assets belong to the family, wife.
Well, we are now
expanding. And that the law does not say that they should declare assets of the family's wife.
Yeah, of the wife's family. Okay, okay. What about the case of...
Everyone knows that they are a very rich family.
What about the case of...
family.
Yes.
What about the case of David Cameron and the father? Of course, David Cameron had some benefits from the offshore assets of the father.
And you see that that is generating heat right now. And you've seen that across the world.
That's another climb entirely. But
Oh,
Nigeria,
yes, another climb. But Nigeria is part of the international system. We are signatories to a lot of treaties. Don't forget. Remember when Ibori ran away from Nigeria? After he was cleared, he ran to Dubai. But Dubai already had a mutual legal assistance treaty with the United Kingdom. Now, between then and now, we have entered into treaties. Don't forget, Buhari has been traveling all over the place, signing different documents. So let's not pretend as if we are still in the Cold War era. This is the 21st century, where Nigeria is a major part of the international system.
And you are saying if our people cannot prosecute this case to the logical
No, I have confidence.
Okay.
I have confidence in the FCC that they will prosecute this case, to a logical conclusion. I believe, of course, they are building the blocks. Yes, Saraki is confident, but one thing I want to believe is this. Let's even go beyond what the case has established. Basically, is that it has shown that there are actually certain things that need to be looked into about Saraki being the number 3 man in Nigeria. So, and that places a moral burden on Saraki remaining in that seat. This is not about just trying to play politics or to grandstand. That's why you see some of the people supporting him, some senators supporting him. They are also saying that, apart from, if in event that he's removed, this and this will happen. They know themselves that there is an extent to which they can push this issue of no, Saraki must remain, and it will no longer hold.
Let's go to the Senate itself, the chamber itself, because it's good we set, we let people understand these. Some people that don't really know the story from the beginning. But let's go to the Senate. The handwriting is like on the wall now. A wall of the Senate now. The people, the opposition, they write things on the wall. They're saying if Saraki, if is convicted, we have PDP man, maybe a Madu now leading the Senate. How
they say
possible?
They need just 3 people.
Yes, how possible can this be, Jide?
Well, I can predict for free that if Saraki is removed, the PDP will inherit that seat. We've talked about this here because the point that they are making is, look, that is the executive that is harassing this man. It is that it is because he chose to go against the wish of his party that he's been put on trial and all that. You and I disagree with that. But we have no means by which we can stop them from reasoning the way they are reasoning. That is how they've chosen to see this matter. You know, some of us have chosen not to see this matter in that way. We've chosen to see this matter as just any corruption case in Nigeria, which we need to see to its logical end, for the good name of Nigeria. But they are saying this is political, that is the executive that is behind this whole thing. And because a lot of them are loyal to Saraki, remember, they've passed a vote of confidence on him twice.
Yes.
Remember the solidarity they show every day that the case comes up for mention at the CCT. There's a boss always on standby that takes them all the way to the tribunal.
But the number has reduced.
Now, the reality is,
but still large.
No, the number may have reduced, but if you know Nigerian politicians very well, there are some die-hard Saraki supporters in the APC.
Like Dino Melaye them.
Dino, people talk about Dino, but it's not the only one. Nearly all of those governors, all of those former APC governors, who vote for Saraki when push comes to shove.
The comrade.
The likes of the likes of Adamu Alero, Kabiru Gaya, the former governor of Kano, they will vote for him. I saw a story last night of Kabiru Gaya, from Kano, saying that as far as they are concerned, this is their leader. And I've seen even lawmakers from Edo State, although PDP from Edo State, yes, saying the same thing. The thing is, because they are loyal to him, what they are saying is, if he loses that position, then somebody from his political family within the Senate will inherit it. The unfortunate thing is that the APC does not have overwhelming majority in that Senate. And remember that only a fraction of APC members in the Senate actually elected Saraki. He had overwhelming support of the PDP.
Or the PDP.
Or the PDP. This, the APC has a simple majority in the Senate. Now, with the fact that he has already now rewarded some of them with juicy committee positions.
A quote.
Juicy committee positions. You know, if they make you the chairman, petroleum downstream, you know it's juicy now. So we are deceiving ourselves.
And you want to stay there.
Or they make you chairman of a banking committee, you know it's juicy now.
Are you saying all PDP lawmakers will vote for Saraki?
They've already boasted that they will, or that they won't be able to split the PDP vote.
Okay.
And I want to believe them.
Okay, what to believe them? For reasons
best not to, because these are people who are opposed to the government.
Okay, let's get to hear some of them. They spoke earlier with TVC.
I don't know about shopping of new Senate president. All I know is that Saraki at the moment still remains the Senate president of the Senate. And of course, if there will be any shopping of the Senate president, it's the PDP that will do the shopping.
I've never drawn away from somebody who I believe I can work with. I believe he's a good material and has been doing well. Look at every bill that came to the Senate from the presidency has been passed by the Senate. There were no rancor, no problem with the presidency.
We don't have any option apart from Bukola Saraki. The first option is Bukola Saraki, the second option is Bukola Saraki, and the third option is Bukola Saraki.
The law presumes that he is innocent until proven guilty, and as the Senate, we are united behind him. And I want to assure you that this is the only man in APC that can be a Senate president. After Bukola Saraki, if the push comes to shove, PDP will put the next Senate president. I can assure you of that.
We do not believe it's going anywhere. You have been following the proceedings. Of course, I don't want it to be subjudiced. We cannot comment on what is going on, but you are Nigerians, you can see what is going on. You know, we don't believe there are serious allegations against him that will necessitate having to remove him as Senate president.
We are not even thinking about 2015 now. We are thinking of 2019 when he will come back for his second term as Senate president. So we that are supporting him, we are solidly behind him, and we are not going to allow anybody to remove him.
Now, welcome back. Some senators there pronouncing their support for the Senate President Bukola Saraki. Let me go to you, Emeka. Yes. He had someone said that first option is Bukola Saraki, second option
Bukola Saraki.
Third option is Bukola Saraki. And somebody else said there are no serious allegations against this man. What do you think? Do you think what they said, if this man leaves that seat, PDP will take over?
No, there are two things. First of all, some are saying he will not leave, even though that's feeble. That's one. The second thing is that others are saying that if he leaves, then PDP will take over. But I would like to tell you one thing. What politicians say in the open is far different from what happens in reality. Don't forget, look at Okadibo's case.
Chuba Okadibo.
Yes, Chuba Okadibo. Look at what happened. Okadibo had massive support. But what happened?
He gave everybody juicy positions.
Yes, so Obasanjo went to his house, danced with the wife, he had lunch. But we saw what happened. At the end of the day, Okadibo was removed. You know,
because you had someone like Obasanjo in that field. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, but don't forget the same Obasanjo visited Buhari yesterday. And they had a closed-door meeting. I don't know what they discussed. But the issue, the situation in the Senate may not have been off the agenda of what they discussed yesterday. And you see, all these things have to do with scheming. Politics is about intrigues and scheming. Everybody pretends to be protecting the general interest. But in reality, politicians protect their personal interest. And I'll tell you one thing, don't forget, there are files on a lot of these people who are just grandstanding.
Oh, the ones even...
Grandstanding.
Okay.
And don't forget that this is Nigeria. When some files are opened and people are reminded of certain things that are known about them, but that are conveniently being kept in some drawers.
So caution is the word. Caution.
Yes. Now, you know, one thing I just believe is that the horse trading, scheming and all of that, but I want to believe Saraki had better play his game well.
Well, I have Anthony on the line. He's calling from Abuja. Good evening, Anthony.
Good evening. How are you?
Wonderful. Good evening.
Okay. A couple of issues I want to raise is this issue of Bukola Saraki being paid beyond his tenure as governor of Kwara State in 2011. This has been confirmed by the Kwara State government with records with those who care to verify. And he hasn't been paid beyond that. What he's been paid is his pension. Now, the second question I really want to address is, where did Mr. Wetcast, the person who gave evidence, where did he get the printed documents from? You know, how can the CCT now equate pension allowance to salary payment? To me, this is a mere deliberate mischief. And it is obvious that the Code of Conduct, CCB, is acting under powerful influence, and it has outsourced its job to the EFCC for onward delivery of a smeared evidence to mislead the general public. You know, when you have all this, look, let's leave this. Investigations that some of us have taken the time to carry out showed that Saraki left office in May 20, and his last salary was something between 291,000 or thereabout. You know, and the fact that the EFCC witness has confirmed that he obtained the evidence from Access Bank, which alleged that Saraki was drawing salary after his tenure expiration, puts question marks on the authenticity of earlier documents read out by him.
Thank you so much, Anthony, for those observations of yours. But I don't think we can talk about it because this case is still in court, so we should just leave it.
But we are just looking at the political dimension.
No, the angles they brought into it, the witness, Wetcast, where did they get the... I think we'd rather just...
The matter is still on, so it's left for the EFCC to prove his case. And for Saraki, don't forget, Saraki will also open his defense.
All right, so...
I'm still confident that if Saraki is removed, somebody from his camp will take that seat.
That's an APC man?
Most likely an APDP man, because they will want to get back at the government. This is their strategy.
That has never happened before.
Let me tell you, look.
That will be a new one.
Will you just let me make my point? In 2011, no matter how popular a politician is, if you go against the wish of the people, and the people in this case now, majority of the people, I'm talking about the Senate, in 2011, President Buhari now caused his party, the CPC, to lose Kano. Why? Because he imposed Lawal Jafar Risa, a former military administrator of Kaduna State, a former ADC of Buhari. He imposed him on the CPC people in Kano. The person who had been financing the CPC in Kano was Mohamed Abacha. And Mohamed Abacha won the primaries with a huge landslide. Huge landslide, almost like 3/4 of the votes. But Buhari felt, Mohamed Abacha, with the corruption, you know, and all that would really taint the party. So he said, no, this guy, that they had to change. They changed him. They substituted him. They went to court, but the court ruled that the party reserves the right to nominate whoever it likes as its candidate. The people of Kano, I've not seen a state in Nigeria where Buhari is as popular as Kano. The crowd that received Buhari in Kano last year was the highest anywhere else he went to. Anywhere else. But at the end of the day, what happened? The CPC members in Kano voted against Buhari's candidate, the person that Buhari nominated, and CPC lost Kano. The same thing happened in Katsina State, where Damarke emerged as the candidate of the CPC. But Damarke had little education. Senator Damarke, the former chairman of the Senate Committee on Railways, little education. Buhari felt, this person will not be good enough for my state. And Buhari brought the current governor of the state.
And in this instance?
Masari, Bello Masari. The people rejected Masari. As much as they loved Buhari and gave him almost 100% support, they voted against his candidate because they felt he could not impose a candidate on them. So in the Senate,
before you go to the Senate, I beg your pardon, and I will go back to that straight. Can I quickly take Ebegbere He's been calling for Bayelsa for a while. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Ebi.
Aruwajo.
Good evening.
And Babajide and the other man, yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah. I want to direct a question to Babajide because I've been following him on this Saraki issue. Are you with me?
Yes, continue.
I appreciate what you are talking about, Saraki, but you made a statement about the fact that it's not witch hunting. It is normal thing. When Saraki has been saying all this while that it is because he is the Senate president that is passing through this predicament. But I want to really know, because you, from your own statement, I've been following your statement for a very long time. You said there are other senators that are in that Senate that are as bad or even worse than Saraki.
Yes.
I know you've said so.
Yes, he said so. Yeah.
Yes.
Continue. Yes, you've repeatedly said so. And today again, the other person that is with you in the studio there also made statements that there are files that could be opened for some persons if they happen to say something, if they want to go against that they are after their own personal interest, not the interest of the public or Saraki,
yes,
when certain things will come up. Yeah, I hope you said so too just now.
Yes.
Yes. Then if that is the case, and Babajide there is saying he wants to believe that they are really going after Saraki just for the sake of going after him, not political, then why is it that these persons that you know that they are also bad, and why is it that you are the only one that knows and not EFCC and the federal government, they don't know that those persons are bad, leaving those people to remain in the Senate when you have confirmed that they are bad? I don't think you're the only one that knows they are bad. Thank you.
I think, yeah, thank you. The last time they said, why is it that the people know these people are bad and they are still there? And you know they are bad, they are still there. I think that's the last part he said.
But
there's nothing I can do
time
about
and
it.
chance. You know, if the EFCC feels it's not yet time to do
For
anything
them.
about them, it's up to the
There
EFCC.
are even cases against a lot of them already. Some of them are in court already.
Yes.
Some of those former governors,
Are in court.
like the former governor of Gombe State, EFCC has a case against him. Like the former governors of Zamfara, Ahmed Sani Yerima, they have at least 2 cases against him. So when their cases come up in court, even the son of the former governor of Adamawa State, you know, Baba Memangoro, you know, his son is in the Senate. Yako's son is in the Senate. There is a big case against him that the EFCC filed before he was sworn in as senator. You know, so there are many of them there in that Senate that they could go after.
I'll let you finish your thought.
Okay.
What you were saying then?
Now, so I'm saying that no matter how popular you are, if you go against the wish of your supporters, they are likely to teach you a political lesson by now voting against the person that you brought.
And in this instance, can you just...
In this case now, you can see whether we like it or not. I may not like Saraki as a person. It's difficult for me to even pretend about it. If I pretend, people will know that I'm lying. Now, and since it's in complete control, my own experience, my own knowledge of Nigerian political history tells me that any time such a thing happens, the person who has been shunted aside is likely, given the popularity that he has, is likely to bring someone from his own political family to say, oh yeah, go and contest.
And they are still running things.
But it didn't happen in the case of Wabara and Okadibo. Don't forget.
You illustrate further.
Wabara was not as popular as...
Tomorrow, you're calling from Niger.
Saraki is too popular.
It's too popular.
Well, even about 84 people
from Kwara. Good evening, Maro.
Hello?
You're calling from Kwara. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay. Your contribution, please.
Okay, yeah. I'm watching your program, so I want to contribute.
Okay.
Yeah, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. Pertaining to the issue at hand, by the Saraki issue. Well, we are enjoying the program, and then what your partners are discussing, we are really enjoying it there.
Thank you very much.
Some of the people that just say that there are political witch hunt. It's nothing like that. If somebody is working and they are paying 200,000 plus, then from there they now increase the pension to 500,000 after 8 years. Our parents they work over 30 years, even their gratuity now are not paid. So they now increase it to 1.23 million. There's so many, about 50 lodgements in a single day. So other people, the last caller from Bayelsa, you don't know what you are feeling in Kwara. We don't know. No, they don't know the pains we are encountering. So really, let the justice take the place. He needs to resign and come up from that place before, you know, the CCTV. So other 10 people that support all those senators that are supporting them, they are all having the same bad record. They are all armed robbers.
All right. Thank you so much. I need to let you go now. When you start calling people armed robbers on this station, we need to cut you off. Thank you very much. We need decorum where you're calling, please. Thank you very much. Emeka, let me go to you. You were saying Adolfo's Wabara, or was that?
Wabara, I said okay. Wabara and Okadibo.
Okay.
And don't forget. Yes.
But we said they are not as popular as
Wabara was
they are not as popular as Saraki.
Yes, I agree, but let me tell you.
But it was generous also.
You remember when this program started, I talked about the moral burden. The moral burden. That the more these revelations come, you know, you see they are doing bigger and bigger damage to Saraki's profile, to his image.
Why? Because
some of these revelations. Now, if at the end of no, it's not even about the support. The senators are free to support whoever they want to support. But what I'm talking about, I'm looking at first of all the issue of Saraki's stay, continued stay as Senate president. Now, the issue of him having to get somebody on board. Don't forget, Buhari is the president, and if we know in the history of politicking in the Fourth Republic, definitely the president has to prove himself in crucial cases like this.
And is Buhari doing that?
Now, I believe, don't forget, Buhari and Tinubu have suddenly become very chummy once again. Don't forget, Obasanjo, suddenly visiting us more frequently. Don't forget
we don't know whether it's about Saraki.
No, well, of course we. I talked about looking at the history, the way intrigues have played out in the Fourth Republic. It's not just for nothing that these people are just suddenly becoming so warm and all of that. But what I'm trying to say is this: yes, the PDP might say, okay, yes, they are going to present somebody. Okay, fine. I wish them all the best. But one thing I want to say is this. The president in Nigeria is a very powerful president. And if he plays his game very well, forget about whatever people, the number of senators around.
So it's not too late?
To do what?
To play the game.
The game is already on.
Can you? We need to talk about the game more. Can I quickly take our caller? It's calling from Lagos. Is that Ikeji? Ikedi?
My view, permit me to state my view with regards to the Saraki issue.
Okay.
Yes. I would like to say one thing, that there is no doubt that Saraki may indeed be guilty of the allegations against him. We are going to be giving him the presumption of innocence until it's so proven. Yeah. However, there's something that should not be lost on us. Okay. And that is the fact that within the APC ranks, there are subdivisions. There were a group of political parties or political groups and blocs that came together to form APC. And in these political groups, we found that Saraki belongs to one of the blocs, a very strong, powerful bloc, which people prefer to refer to as the then new PDP, that later joined APC. However, when the Senate convened and it was to elect its Senate president, by hook or crook, by some dint of political maneuver, Saraki went against the position of his party, the APC, and brought himself up for nomination and election as senator, and went ahead even where a lot of the members of the
Senate
and of the assembly were not on seat. He went ahead and allowed himself to be elected. So the party naturally would have some misgivings against him.
Okay, so you think there's division between in the party, right?
Yes, within the party, APC.
All right, then. Thank you so much.
So
that's what. Let me take this to you, because is that part of the game the president should play now? unite the party?
Talk about it. Unfortunately, APC is not a strong political party. It was just, an association of friends, association of friends that came together to basically remove Jonathan through the ballot box and then take power. Serious thought was not given to building a strong structure, a cohesive structure.
And is it too late?
No, let me just finish. Now you cannot point to any document that you can say this is the APC, this is the soul of APC.
The manifesto.
No, it's not the manifesto. I'm talking about like the green
document
book. Like you had Gaddafi's green book. That in it you could see how the government was thinking, how the leadership was thinking, and now you don't have anything like that to know how APC is likely to move on a position. But now the APC now has an opportunity to show itself as a serious political party. Because if it's losing or if it's getting involved in all these skirmishes, little skirmishes and all that, it's going to be reducing its influence. I'm not even talking about Saraki's issue or not. Let's say there wasn't this Saraki issue, and there were other issues. Don't forget PDP. PDP, whatever we may call it, is also it's a formidable opposition party. It has strong members. It may have some issues right now, but PDP has strong members who have a lot of influence here and there.
The population also, the numbers of senators really matter also. And today, we're looking at the standing order. They've not, the forged standing order. We've not
that matter is still in court.
We've not talked about
the matter is still in court.
And now, how will I put it now? If the court finds out that the standing order was really forged, what's the way forward? That means everybody has to go, we need to start all over. Or what do you think, Jide?
No, Kwere Madu was blamed for it.
And it might be the Senate president.
If Kwere Madu is taken out, they will still vote for someone from Saraki's camp. Mark my word, write it down that I said so today. I don't say something that I'm not sure of on air. I don't say, if I say, this is the governorship candidate that will win an election. On this program, I have a 100% record. You can find out.
Well, you might make a mistake.
I'm sure. No, well, you wait and wait for that.
Yeah, you wait and wait.
The thing is, because no, if I'm not sure, I will not say. This is very clear. Those guys, those senators that spoke, they are senators that I know very well. Some of them have known them for up to 25 years.
And they stand by their words.
And if they are saying that this is the person that we are going to vote for, a lot of them are APC. But in fact, majority of the people that you saw speak, more than 3/4 of them were APC senators.
But Emeka said you don't trust politicians.
The reality is, let me tell you, Buhari is not Obasanjo. The extent to which Obasanjo can go to achieve his aims, Buhari is not that crude to go to that extent. Buhari will not go to your house to eat pounded yam and come out of your house to impeach you. He will not do that, because that was what Obasanjo did to
he's a politician. Yes.
And he did the same thing to Audu
Ogbe.
Buhari will not do that.
I did to that the Oshuma, the Oguma.
That's the reason why he's not, and he's not a politician per se.
Ogbe.
Buhari is not a politician per se.
Yes.
Just like Fashola is not a politician. He just happened to be governor for 8 years. He's not a politician in the real sense of the word. You cannot and it's not a tactician, like a political tactician like a Tinubu, for example. If it was a Tinubu that was president, you know that we will find a way around this. But Buhari is not like that.
But Tinubu can still help Buhari.
He's one of Buhari's enforcers, don't forget.
Well, it depends on, don't also forget that Tinubu supported what's his name? Senator Ahmed Lawan. And he didn't have his way. So,
and
you see, Saraki had done his homework sufficiently. Went around the emirs, he pleaded with them. You can imagine the revelations we got later was that it was even the Sultan of Sokoto even sanctioned this emergence. So he had already worked on a lot of people. Are you telling me that today, do you think that today, if the election of a new Senate president is were to take place today, do you think even Kwankwaso, do you think he will vote against Saraki? Or even the man from Sokoto, Magata Kadawa? There are problems even within the APC that we already know. Let me tell you, let me give you this prediction for free. in 2019, God will spare our lives. Ask me. There are people now in the APC. In 2019, they will be in a different camp. Because already there's even realignment going on. Just that it's
already.
not
Yeah,
already.
Hello, Bayo.
Ogunlewe said
it's going on. Realignment is going on.
Okay, can I quick this, Bayo? Tayo, good evening. You're calling from Ogun State.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Babajide.
Good evening, brother.
Good evening, Emeka.
Thank you.
On this Saraki's issue, I just want you to know one thing, that despite the fact that Saraki is a card-carrying member of APC, I think his soul and body belongs to the PDP.
Thank you, Tayo.
Very correct.
And there is nothing we can do about it. Sincerely, Babajide, you have just spoke out my mind, and that is exactly what is happening. But along the line, I see, that is why I enjoy Emeka this evening. You see Baba Yabo going frequently to the president. And you see another collaboration between Jagaban, Tinubu, and the president. Because these people realize that Buhari might not be able to understand the politics of this Senate.
Yes.
And these are the people that are going to help him out. Okay. See, because Saraki's ship is already sunk. And by the time this thing is pronounced and we all know it, and somebody from PDP comes up, then the Jagaban and the Baba Yabo are already teaching the president what to do. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you very much. And when we return, joint forces arrest 300 Boko Haram members. Stay with us. In March 2015, Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, Niger, and Benin Republic came together to form 8,700 strong regional force against Boko Haram. Today, this alliance is making its gains. On Wednesday, more than 300 Boko Haram members were arrested and about 2,000 captives were freed. This brings to a total of 11,000 hostages freed from the claw of Boko Haram in the last 1 month. This is definitely a good news, isn't it, Jude?
Yes, I think we are making real progress, and it makes me really happy. The days of Boko Haram running amok and just wasting our people are over. You could see now that they are struggling. They are struggling to make their presence felt. Yes, they are still in control of at least 2 local governments in Borno State, but they are making, they are finding it difficult to move around or operate the way they used to. Our soldiers are really, the armed forces are making real progress. This morning I was reading what the Chief of Air Staff said, that since the flag off of the Operation Lafia Dole, that they've made about 3,000 hours of sorties, that means bombing raids on Boko Haram targets, and that approximately that amounts to 3.7 million liters of aviation fuel expended on just bombing these people. That must be really, really costly, and we must have brought so much progress. The ground forces can do little without the support of the Air Force. Modern warfare, it is the Air Force that makes the difference. We saw it in Iraq, and his statement that a lot of these boys are, the Boko Haram boys are surrendering in large numbers, I believe, because during bombing, when you bomb people around the clock, you wear them down. Psychologically, they can't do much.
They just want to
During the 1991 Gulf War, American bombers were detailed to continue to bomb Saddam's Republican Guard positions in southern Iraq, because the Republican Guards were the best and the most tested and the most stubborn set of soldiers that Saddam had. They were the heroes of the Iran-Iraq war. You know, they made the difference in that war. So America targeted them. Around the clock bombing, they didn't allow them to sleep. So when you lose sleep for a few days because you are being bombed repeatedly, you will not even be able to fight. It got to a point that they started waving white handkerchiefs. It was unthinkable that the best soldiers that Saddam had, the best trained by the Russians, could come out to say, no, we are not fighting anymore. So now the sustained bombing by our Air Force has really made a difference in this war. And that's why we are making real progress. If it continues like this, I know, I'm not saying that the Boko Haram will be totally defeated, because they will move into another phase.
But they'll be weakened. But
they won't hold territories anymore. They will just be like Al-Shabaab. Occasionally they will launch attacks here. We know, go and hide. So we still need, after that we can prepare. The rebuilding of the Northeast can proceed, and then we'll prepare for the next phase of the war. How do we improve our intelligence and architecture to ensure that those occasional bombings, the use of gas for bombing, would stop? Out of 89 bombings recorded in 2015, 39 of them, suicide bombing. Out of 89 suicide bombings recorded in 2015, 39 of them were carried out by women. And out of this 39, 21 of them were below 18 years.
Wonderful.
So it is really terrible that these guys continue to use our women suicide bombers. And we need to put an end to it.
What do we do to these people? Even the Boko Haram, how did they put it? Boko Haram, the ones, the converted Boko Haram, the ones that surrendered. And even the rescued girls or the rescued women or the rescued men. How do we deal with the rehabilitation? You know, these people could or should be morally demented already. Even the Boko Haram members or the born-again Boko Haram members and even the rescued people. What do we do with the rehabilitation?
Yeah, it's good that Nigeria is collaborating with its development partners in the rehabilitation of these unfortunate victims of Boko Haram and those who are unfortunately recruited into the ranks of this evil terrorist group. But I think we need to really make good use of the advice and services of countries that had a long history of insurgency. For instance, like Sri Lanka, Colombia. We can deal, we can have dealings with those countries so that they will help us to quickly get these people to get over the trauma. It's not going to be easy.
Do you think Sri Lanka or Colombia have done well in that aspect already?
Yeah, I think Sri Lanka has significantly has done a lot. But of course, the UN is part of this, and the UN has been part of efforts, rehabilitation in different places, Liberia, Sierra Leone. So definitely,
we need international.
Yes, we need international support, and it's good the international community is showing serious commitment towards the rebuilding of the Northeast, and I believe the program that the federal government has put together is definitely going to succeed. But we must not rest on our laurels. What it means is that it's good that President Buhari has established a military formation, has approved the establishment of a military formation in Lake Chad, but we need to now strengthen security along our borders. Very, very important. We must make sure that to a large extent, even if it's to 60%, we must be in control of all our borders. There have been different initiatives. There was the issue of fencing our borders. There are different initiatives that came
up. Even drones. They talked about drones one time also.
Yeah, this is 21st century.
Yeah. Why can't we can find the money to fence those?
Yeah, but of course we can find
but we can use drones. Or what do you think?
We can use drones to monitor those places. Yes.
Because the problem is drones also to monitor our pipelines.
It can be a gradual thing.
I think it's cheaper.
The fencing
because the idea
can take 10, 20 years.
The idea came up around 2011.
I beg your pardon. Can I quickly take this call from Ghana?
Because of money.
Good evening. Oh, we lost that call. Okay.
So the idea first came up around 2011, 2012, but because of money,
the fencing,
it's going to be extremely costly to do that. You see, the communities that Boko Haram controls now, those local governments that they control, within 2 to 3 local governments in Borno, they are along our extensive border with Cameroon and Chad, largely. So, and the Chadian rebels, you know, they've been fighting against the government, you know, for many years. The Chadian rebels continue to stream into Nigerian territory. When they are hungry, they need food and all that, they come into Nigerian territory. So those communities are kind of lawless communities, so to say, because no one is really, the army has not been able to take hold of the control.
Before we go, you need to talk about this rehabilitation, but that's after Chide. Chide is calling from Kaduna. Good evening, Chide.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, Dapper, how is today?
Yeah, wonderful. Good evening.
Babajide, good evening to you too.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, again, Maka.
Good evening, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
In fact, I've been very, very much interested in the discussions you people are reeling out this evening. I want to commend you people for a forthrightness. And what interests me most is about the progress that the Nigerian government is so far making in the fight against insurgency. So I want to commend the government of President Muhammad Buhari at this point in time concerning the inroads that the administration has so far made, even if it is going to be a year's anniversary of his coming into power as the president of Nigeria. At least the killing of innocent citizens in the northeast, I think we've had enough of it. And I want to join, or rather enjoin the entire Nigerians to pray so that this insurgency will stop in the northeast in particular, and every other strata of Nigeria in general. I want to say kudos to the government.
All right.
Nice weekend.
Thank you, Jide. Kudos to you for calling also. Thank you so much. As we round up, Jide, what do you think, the rehabilitation?
Yes, I think that for me, we need to decisively win the war before anything. I'm more concerned.
What about the people on ground already?
I'm more concerned about the decisive victory before we go into anything. Let me tell you, there are communities today that we have captured that people are reluctant to
go back.
So we need to clear the remnants of these people. That's where the cooperation of our neighbors is key, because you can't man those borders alone. How many soldiers do we have? And these are extensive borders. So the Chadians, for example, we need to really work on them. And the 8,700 strong multinational force, I want it to start work immediately, because we've decided with those African countries to set up the multinational force, including even Benin Republic. But up till now, the soldiers are not on ground. They need to put the force together in good time so that they can begin to man these borders, and then we can deal with the remnants of Boko Haram.
Okay, Emeka, we need to go, but I have to squeeze a line out of you.
Like last caller said, kudos to President Buhari for really taking the fight to Boko Haram. But I believe, like Jide said, let's tighten the news around it. Let's increase the tempo, and then let's increase the lobbying of the international community to assist in quickly concluding the war and reintegrating the displaced persons to their communities.
Wonderful.
If we get the support of the international community the way Iraq is getting it, we will have ended this war.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Emeka Madunagu and Babajide Koladio Tijoju. Thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you also. And that's all on Journalist Hangout today. Join us again next week for fresh episodes of the program. And don't forget to watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. I am Dapo Arua Joy. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.